Somebody else joined us. Somebody else joined us. Donna Albano.
Oh, that's my second word.
Okay.
Okay, that one's done.
Miss one. Miss one. All right. Get two. Come on, people. Why does that guy have to be doing that right now?
Right now, he was just mowing. So.
He's trimming.
Hello, Donna.
Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Donna.
Good, thank you. I'm a
See
friend
your
of
friend?
Carolyn.
Yeah, that's what she said. Can you see her? Are you just listening? You don't have a camera?
I recognize her anywhere.
She recognized you.
Love it, love it, love it.
She said, love it, love it, love it. Sometimes it takes people a little bit of time to sign in, Donna.
Absolutely.
And it's so cute.
You can't have that.
Donna, have you seen our memorial garden here before?
No, I have not.
Oh, you're in Jersey. Here, let me show you. Can you hear it?
Wait. I have Frozen playing in the other room with my grandson.
Oh, this is the thing
I can't
that,
hear it, but I see it's beautiful.
yeah, this is the thing that clinched it for me to come here because I wanted, you know, like a water fountain. It's like, oh, okay. And it's right outside my office.
Oh, perfect.
So this is our memorial garden.
Oh, how pretty. Oh, those daffodils.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very nice. Wow.
Yeah.
It looks to me like Carolyn's been around there.
Yep, just a bit. There's much more over there that we're going to spend some time in, but okay. Well, I think we should just go because if people come in, they can. Who's starting? Who's starting? Who's starting? Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and start. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here this evening outside. And thanks, Anne, for joining us here and in the car from here. And I'm just going to turn it over to Tracey Yazzie and Carolyn LeBoy. Thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Hi, welcome. So we're here in the garden where Carolyn and I have spent a lot of time the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm going to pull this down just a little bit because there's a lot of background noise. So we're both like-minded gardeners. Carolyn and I, we called this Gardening with a Purpose because we like to do what we do for the pollinators, the insects, and the wildlife. And that's basically what we're here about. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But the goal of this garden has been to attract beneficial insects and pollinators. And Carolyn's going to speak to that, start us off first with talking a little bit about those things. So
I'm up. Hey guys. So most of you know my passion is the monarch. I love the monarch, all things monarch, and I'm going to give a couple of facts about them. And the life cycle for the monarchs is mind-blowing if you really think about it. I'm going to try not to confuse you, but it's pretty confusing. There are 4 generations every season when it comes to the monarchs. The monarchs that you see in the spring are the ones that were here in the fall that flew all the way to Mexico and then hibernated and came back. So those live about 8 or 9 months. When they come back, their only job is to reproduce. And then from that, they'll be the first generation of the season. They will reproduce, have the second generation and the third generation, all within 2 months of each other. And then come September or October is the fourth generation. And they're the ones who will then go back to Mexico to make the journey back the following year. So it's just, it's crazy to think how those little monarchs, how some of them only live for 6 or 8 weeks. And then there's one set of them that live for 8 months. It's just, nature is just amazing when you can think about it like that. So I just needed to give you that fact because when I learned about that, it was really exciting. And that's why I think part of why they're so special. But I wanted to give you a little bit about their plight and how their numbers are so drastically declining. So the butterflies or monarchs, the only thing that they can feed on when they're caterpillars is milkweed. And there is a massive decline in the milkweed population due to farming, where they're using pesticides and chemicals to kill the weeds. So a lot of that is not happening. And they're also, the milkweed is losing their habitat, which therefore means that the monarchs are losing their habitat when they go back to Mexico to hibernate. So things that you can do to help, very important, really simple. All you want to do is you want to plant some milkweed in the garden. There's a lot of different kinds of milkweeds. The standard milkweed that grows on the roadside, it does get really big and really tall and it falls over. And some people, you know, they like a really pretty formal garden. That's not the milkweed that you want in your garden then. If you want to get something a little more compact, like the balloon milkweed, the tropical milkweed, stuff like that. Those do not, they don't take over, and they still be eaten up by the caterpillars. And, you know, from there, you just have more and more monarchs and they just keep on coming and coming and I get them every year. And also some other things you can do if you want other butterflies in your garden, you could plant some dill and parsley and fennel. Those will bring you those beautiful swallowtails, either yellow or black. And if you want the painted ladies, the hollyhocks and zinnias, they will most definitely bring more flowers. So I did bring a couple of pictures. So you got to tell me if you see them. This is what a little caterpillar looks like, little monarch caterpillar. Is that better?
Yep.
Monarch caterpillar turns into this beautiful baby. And all these pictures are from my garden. See that? That's what they look like. And then to move on to some other beneficial bugs. The praying mantis, a lot of people don't know about how important those things are to the garden. They eat a lot of bad bugs. Their favorite thing to eat is a wasp. So if you have praying mantis, leave them in your garden. They'll do you a favor. I put a picture. They do sometimes like the monarch caterpillars as well, unfortunately. But I just wanted to show you what, you know, the mantises look like. And also, if you see something like this in your garden, this is actually a praying mantis nest.
Oh.
You guys can see a picture. So if you see those in your garden, just leave them alone. Don't throw them away. Don't burn them like, you know, some people did by mistake. Just, you know, just keep them. Share that. If you have a bunch, share them with your neighbors. That's what I do. And the other thing now, you have those little annoying aphids. Here's another picture. See those tiny little orange, annoying little orange bugs right there? Those are aphids. They don't do any damage to your plants. However, they bring lots and lots and lots of ladybugs, and the ladybugs will eat them up. So it's a whole life cycle when you have those in your garden. Spiders, we all know spiders eat bad bugs. One of my favorite pictures. Sorry, Maya, if you're watching. Do not be afraid of the bees. All right, bees are our friends. They are all pollinators. If there's any beekeepers out there who, you know, farm for honey, please let me know. I'd be more interested in some of that. And of course, you know, you have worms, which do a lot of good to aerate the ground with their tunnels, and they're a staple for almost all the baby birds that are born in our area. Now, this is not a thing about lanternflies, but I do want to mention if you guys are battling lanternflies and using that tape that goes around your tree, please make sure you put some sort of a netting around that. There's so many reports of the birds getting stuck in that tape, and unless you could take it to a rehabber, they're not going to survive. So if you're going to use that tape, please be mindful of the birds because it will do a lot of damage to them as well. Let's see. Oh, another little fact about my little favorite hummingbirds. Everybody thinks that they like the nectar and the juice and the sugar water that we put in our feeders, but their primary source of energy is from bugs and the little flies. They only use the sugar water to get enough energy to fly fast enough to catch the little bugs, which gives them the protein that they need to survive. So they're always fun to watch, even when they're not at your feeders. And if you want to plant some stuff in your garden for the seed eaters, like the finch and the cardinals, you got some coneflower, black-eyed Susan, sunflowers, there's float thistles, zinnia, cosmos, and there's plenty more. And there's tons on the internet, but if you also want to plant in your garden, your veggie gardens, and keep some bugs away, you could plant some Tansy Ferns. How do you say that, Tracey? The other word? Nasturtium. Nasturtium. I couldn't say that word. I was totally butchering it. Marigolds and bee balm. Those will help with your cucumber beetles and your squash bugs. Mosquitoes will be kept away with lavender, marigolds, rosemary, basil, bee balm, and sage. And flies can be kept away also with lavender, mint, and basil, and a few other herbs. And as you can see, when we were walking through our garden, there's a lot of herbs in our garden, which probably helps with the bug population and why it's such a productive garden. So all I had here, one more thing. In our garden, we're going to put some of these little posters up there. This is from the Pennsylvania State, I can't think of the word right now, extension. And it shows you which native perennials by sun, by shade, which ones could go in your garden that are native and pollinator friendly. So we'll put these out in our garden in case you want to come by and get them. And if anybody wants seeds for their garden, let me know. I have plenty. We'll leave some at the church. And that's all I got.
Thank you so much. That is really full of a lot of information. Thank you. And now we have Tracey.
Carolyn gave me the best segue because, you know, we both are interested in the same things, and that's why we enjoy doing this together so much. We're in a space that's right now is the early spring, but there's a lot going on, and we hope to show that to you in just a second. But no matter what size your space is at home, you want to think about 4 seasons of interest. And I think we've got a lot of that going on in this garden. So your winter is going to be your evergreen shrubs, and that provides cover for your birds and other little critters who might be overwintering in your yard. But we also have some semi-evergreens, and obviously this is an evergreen, but I want to take you over and show you the semi-evergreens, which are fabulous for winter interest. And go right over here to the Hellebores. These are Hellebores or Lenten rose. And a lot of people are drawn to that. Actually, it's called Lenten rose because they bloom during Lent. Now, this one's a little late this year. We had a really cold February, but it's not uncommon for the Lenten rose to start blooming in February. This will carry its color well until the early summer, and then it will just be a nice little compact shrub in the summer. So let's kind of pan back at the waterfall. A beautiful structure. It provides cover again for little critters coming up the rock. So that's the thing. And then some other things we like to do in the winter time is leave some things just to dry on the plants over the winter. For instance, Carolyn mentioned the coneflower. Oftentimes we won't cut back the or deadhead the seed head because late into the fall, the goldfinches and you know, other birds are picking at those little seeds. Other things like sedum we might leave those seed heads on that as well to dry, just like hydrangeas. It just kind of gives a nice little winter interest. We have spring bulbs in the spring. Obviously, we all know about that. So we have some spring activity going on. And then let's walk over to this garden, which is our pollinator garden. And this is full on summer right over here. Now, we don't have a lot going on yet, but this is the garden that is specifically for our pollinators that Carolyn talked about. We want to see humming and buzzing going on over here. So we were very careful to pick out things that we knew that the insects and the butterflies would love. Lots of great stuff coming up right now. A lot of stuff, not all, but many things in here are native plants. And we particularly encourage people to pick native plants because number one, they're well suited to our environment and our soil conditions. And number two, they require less water because they adapt so well. And thirdly, those are the things that our native insects and our native birds will particularly be drawn to. So maybe we can do an update in the early summer and show what's going on in the garden then. But Carolyn mentioned black-eyed Susans, purple coneflower. Soon we'll have Joe Pye weed, which is an awesome native plant. The common milkweed, as Carolyn talked about, some other different kinds of milkweed as well. We'll have phlox and bee balm and butterfly weed and stonecrop sedum and all kinds of stuff. So we're excited to show you what this garden will look like when summer is coming. Also, with this type of garden, we have it deliberately packed. So you will notice this is a densely planted garden, and that helps keep our weeds down. It also provides that cover that we're talking about, which is really important as well. We talked about perennials, but also annuals are a part of the garden as well. And Carolyn and I think that's one of our favorite things we look forward to in May. And we have a planting day coming up in May when we get to plant annuals. And annuals are going to give you that color that just lasts the whole summer into the fall. However, and no offense, Carolyn, but I don't want to be out here watering a garden all summer. So I'm not going to say we're lazy, but we're very economical, and we're also very careful about our time. We don't think that you want to spend your entire summer watering a garden. So when we put annuals in, tend to stick with tried and true annuals that don't require a lot of watering. And this tends to get a lot of sun, as well as this one, especially afternoons, hot afternoon sun. So if you're used to seeing things like annual vinca, and lately I've been drawn to the Proven Winners variety, the growers who produce the super petunias. So if you love petunias, but you don't have good luck with them, check into the Super Tunia Vista series, and you're going to see things like called bubblegum. There's another Super Tunia called Bordeaux, and these require little water, hot sun, and they'll get massive. So watering is definitely something that we're very careful about, and not choosing fussy plants that require a lot of water. The other thing is you want to make sure that you have the right spot for the right plant. That's really important too. Shade plants in the shade, your sun plants go in the sun. The final thing I think I kind of want to talk about is attracting wildlife. We could peek around. Have a bluebird house. I can't say I've seen a bluebird yet, but that's courtesy of Terry Black. We have a pole over here that we have a bee nesting box for mason bees, and we'll get that back up for the summer. When the cross comes down, we have a butterfly nesting box as well. And we got a little late start. We have a delay, but we have some hummingbird feeders and bird feeders that are going to be going up very shortly. And I kind of want to put out another suggestion that if anyone wants to donate a couple of bird feeders, we'll gladly take them. We have a feeding station ready to go, and so we'll gladly take that. We've got plenty of seed. other wildlife besides the beneficial insects that Carolyn talked about is we want to think about things like amphibians. Do you have toads, frogs, turtles? We mentioned the birds, the pollinators, but there are requirements if you want to attract these to your yard. And so those are your food sources, like we talked about, mainly your plants, a water source, very important, whether it's a bird bath or a fountain or a little pond, a place to raise young. Sometimes that can be a pile of wood for some, might be just piles of sticks. Cover, that would be your evergreen shrubs too, places where they can build nests. And then sustainable practices, and that's what I'm going to wrap up with. Sustainable practices would be your judicial use of your herbicides and your pesticides. Being very careful to avoid them when you can, but also if you're using something like Roundup, which can harm your bees, you want to use it very early in the morning or in about this time of the day when your bees and your other insects are less active. But we prefer that people try to avoid using that also. And so that's sharing, I think, a little bit about our garden here at the church and some of our goals and our plans for the church garden. We just hope everybody enjoys it. That's the main thing.
So you are welcome to come down and just hang out in the garden and have a peaceful time, maybe sitting on the bench and just enjoying God's earth and the way she gives back to us. Carolyn, do you want to say anything more?
I want to say thanks for watching. Good. Come on down anytime. A lot of people like to walk through, sit in the garden, enjoy it, and
Have your lunch. Come and have your lunch here during a lunch break. It's beautiful. It's perfect.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. It's wonderful, very informative, and it's beautiful here. Just absolutely beautiful here. Thank you all for visiting with us. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.